Hi learners, good morning. Welcome to Unify study for a quick marathon on research aptitude. Welcome you all. Srinivas, Satya, Bhavani, Archana, Lekha. Is my video clear? My audio? Everything clear? Kishori, Gopal, Shobha. Good morning all. Good morning Yamini. Gayatri, good morning. Are you all ready for the marathon on research aptitude? We are going to revise all the important concepts. Yes, all clear. Yes, perfect. Thank you. Namika, very good. Welcome, Shobhya, Archana. Good morning, all. Good morning. Yes, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Kaustap Nandi. Good morning. Okay. So today we are going to have the quick revision on all the important concepts of, not all, the most important concepts of research aptitude. Do share with your friends. Do share with your friends. Let them join. Yes. Okay, we will start this session. Please do like the session. Please do like the session. So what is research? We start with the basic concepts. I'll be going with concept-wise concept. Okay, concept-wise concept. I'm going to take you the class. These are the important concepts, most important concepts with respect to last 3 sets of UGC NET question paper of research aptitude. These topics are most widely asked topics. Okay, I'll hide my photograph. So according to research aptitude of UGC NET second unit, we have been getting 5 questions, right? Minimum of 4 questions we get from research aptitude. Maximum it goes from 6. So average we are getting 5 questions from research aptitude. Of that 5 questions, we get questions from this area. Characteristics of research, research process, types of research, methods of research, qualitative versus quantitative, hypothesis, sampling, validity, reliability, research ethics. These are the most important topics that have been asked so far in our UGC NET paper 1. Okay, that in unit 2 we have been asking this question. Inside they are going in detail sometimes. So we are supposed to know the basic concepts of all these topics so that we can answer the in-depth questions in detail. So today we are going to cover as much as possible with these topics. We are going to revise the concepts with some kind of ideas. So today we start the class with the first one, research. What do you mean by research? What do you mean by research? Research is to do search for knowledge. I'll be talking along with it. Try to take notes. Research means what? Search for new knowledge. Already it is there in this thing, but we are going to do what? We are going to search for the knowledge. And whenever we say research, it is nothing but an art of doing the scientific investigation. We are generating new ideas, new knowledge. Already it is there. Everything is there. The universe is here only. We had ocean, we have everything here, but every time what we do go deep into it to get more insight about that information. That is the field of research, right? They have been invented bulb, but is that bulb which has been invented by Thomas Alva Edison is still we are using? No, it has many different forms of bulb has been come into existence. There are many places where we are doing inventions, we are discovering new things which are not there, right? So it is there to generate new knowledge where we create new insight. These are all the keywords of research. Okay, we develop a new insight into some phenomena. What do you mean by phenomena? We also need to know these terms because this all comes under the important terminologies of research. What do you mean by phenomena? Phenomena means what? Are you all ready, right? Yes. What do you mean by phenomena? Phenomena is nothing but a scene. With that scene, they go deep into it to explore more ideas. Okay, to get familiarity with that concept. That we call phenomena. If tsunami has happened means what? Tsunami happened means what? Tsunami is nothing but a phenomena, right? After tsunami, how the people are living. How after tsunami, how their business has been affected. After tsunami, what is their lifestyle has been changed. So studying insight about that thing, we call it as phenomena. Okay, to investigate some existing situation or problem. There are many problems in the society, so we will be dig deep into it to find out the why the situation happens, what is the problem, what's the root of the problem. So they'll be doing investigation of things, and just to construct or create a new procedure system. It is called innovation. When I create something, I will call it as a innovation. I create new things. Okay, that's called innovation. And to explore and analyze more general issues. See, these are all the keywords that we use for research. For research, we use these words: generate, gain insights, investigate, create. Create means what? Innovation and all, it comes under this create and construct. And to investigate some existing situations or problems. To test the hypothesis or theory. Very, very important. To test a hypothesis or a theory. What do you mean by hypothesis? Hypothesis is nothing but a tentative statement before starting a research. So before starting a research, I need to have what I am going to do. So what I am going to do can be referred in a point of a hypothesis. So this is what I am going to start with, or this is what I am going to find out. So that we call it as what? Hypothesis. So there I will be testing the hypothesis. I will be defined everything. This is going to be my input. This is the output I need to want. So I will be test whether that output can be defined, derived or not. It's called hypothesis testing. I will be testing the hypothesis. It is a tentative statement of a problem, of a research problem. Tentative statement of a research problem. And to identify a pattern, where this identifying pattern will be done is in marketing research, in analytical research, in business, in trend, finding out the trend. In those areas where we can apply the identifying the pattern. If you go for a mall, where the items will be placed based on the pattern of the purchase buying behavior, right? So those things can be done only by means of what? Doing research. So these are all the objectives of research. This may be asked in your statement based questions. Which of the following are not the objective of research? Which of the following are the objectives of research? In those things where we can ask these type of questions. Yes, next we move to the characteristics of research. Many times these questions have been asked with respect to which of the following is the characteristics A, B, C, D, E, multiple selection that we have to do. Yes, what is a research? It is a search of knowledge and it has some objective to be done. And these are all the points which are said to be the characteristics of research. See, empirical, systematic, control, hypothesis, analytical, objective, unbiased, and logical. So these we call it as what? Characteristics of research. What do you mean by characteristics of research? Empirical means what? It is based on observation and experiments. It is based on observations and experiments. That is empirical. Whenever we do research, right, it is too in terms of scientific research. That too in terms of scientific research, it is based on generalization. Okay, it will be empirical, it will be systematic. What will be systematic? They will be telling you what after the what we have to do. It follows a orderly and a sequential procedure, and that we call a systematic form of research. Controlled research means what? Controlled research means experimental research and all comes, right? Experimental research, they comes under this controlled research. where the factors will be in a controlled way, the environment will be in a controlled way, it will be in the hands of the researcher. Okay, all the variables except those that are tested and experimented upon are kept constant. Okay, the researcher will takes care of the environment, it takes care of all the variables and factors which are in the control or not. Kaushik, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis means before starting a research problem, I want to know about my student's mindset. Means I'll be testing the student, I'll be framing a statement. Okay, I want to test the study habit about my student. Okay, what are all the factors have been determined? I have to determine, I have to tell whether the mobile distracts them or the social media distracts them or their physical things distracts them. I'll be placing out some parameters, and then I'll be telling you the study habit of a student is being affected by the mobile device. I give this as the hypothesis. So I have to prove whether the mobile device has been affected the study habit of the student or not. So this is the statement I'll be starting with. I'll be telling the study habits of the students have been affected by the mobile phones. So I have to tell them whether this has been the reason, yes or no. I have to justify through my experiments and my research. So that statement I call it as what? A hypothesis. So this point only I am going to move, that we call it as a hypothesis. Clear, Kaushik? Yes. Yes. And analytical means what? What is the characteristics of research? It should be analytical. Analytical means it has to go with the logic, where we have to do critical analysis of all data so that there is no error in their interpretation. So whenever it follows, whenever it gets logical, it should have the logic, where it should be having a critical statistical analysis will be there. The statistical analysis will be there. So the critical analysis of data will leads to no error in during the interpretation part. That we call analytical. And objective, unbiased and logical. So all the findings that we do in our research has to be objective oriented. Objective means towards one point. It has to be unbiased. No one, I'm doing for this person, I'm doing for this person. No, it is for science, right? That is unbiased. Logical means what? It has to be rational. It has to be logically correct. And they can also have another word called rational. Note down, if we have been asked in some other terms, we are supposed to answer rational. Okay, so objective, unbiased, logical. These are all the important characteristics of research. Okay, yes. So next we move to different types of research. We have types of research based on objective, based on outcome, okay, based on logic, based on purpose. So we see there is types of aptitudes in just in a very small way, so that we can understand and remember things. So first we start with the fundamental research or a basic research. What do you mean by a fundamental research? Fundamental research is a basic research. What image I have given is Thomas Alva Edison. He invented bulb. Yes, it is a basic research where that research has been added to the science, to the field of science, and another credit has been added, where that increases the urge towards that research. See, this expands the knowledge in the specific research area of science, right? Invention of bulb is not alone in that point. Now it has been extended, and today we have used different. It starts in the 1870s century, right? And now there are many dimensions of that bulb. Clear? So the basic research means what? It expands the knowledge in specific research area. It increases the knowledge base. It increases the knowledge base for research. So with this fundamental research, right? With this bulb fundamental research, we move to the next step. So this is used for constructing theories. So fundamental research we always call it as basic research, and this basic research will be adding a knowledge to the field of science. It is adding a corpus to the field of science. Corpus, note on the keyword corpus. It is adding a corpus to the knowledge of science, and it is used for constructing theories. So with this invention only, they constructed theories about bulb, filaments, resistance, everything they talked about, right? So this is said to be the basic research, fundamental research. And from there we move to research called applied research. What do you mean by applied research? Uses of principles of fundamental research. Having this as the principle, having the fundamental research as the principle, and it is being applied to the next stage of example. See, this is a bulb, right? What is this? See, at the beginning we had a candle light, and then we invented bulb, and then we have filament, and then see we have LED, LCD. They are different forms of light we have invented, and these different forms is being applied in different areas of life. Yes or no? So why it comes? Why this has been replaced with this one? This has been replaced with this one. This has been replaced with this one. Why? Because this comes because of the challenge that we had in the society. With this bulb alone, we cannot live, right? Because there are many disadvantages with respect to that bulb. So they just innovated something. With that bulb concept, they did some innovation and created another one. With some innovation, they invented another one. So based upon the challenge that the society is been facing, they gave a solution to it. So it is a solution to immediate challenges faced by the society, and that we call applied research. The keywords that can be used here is, what? Solution to immediate challenges. Solution to immediate challenges. Enhance. So these are all the keywords can be used for the applied research. Yes, clear? So this is the principle of fundamental research. Is understand the challenges. These are the solution to the immediate challenges. The keywords can be enhanced. Here adding corpus. Here this can be enhanced. And next comes what? Descriptive research. What do you mean by descriptive research? Descriptive means what? So far you are clear with the concept? Yes. So far the concept's clear? Yes. Correct, Yam. Correct. Yes, clear. Okay, next comes descriptive. So this is going to be a quick revision for your exam, so please do listen. So descriptive means what? It is for survey and fact-finding inquiries. Example, I'll go with an example. What do you mean by descriptive research? What we do in a descriptive question pattern, we used to describe things. We used to write a lot of essays to describe things, right? Applied action, both are same, no money, they both are different. Applied and action are different. We will see the upcoming slides. We will see. Yes. So what do you mean by descriptive? Descriptive means it's a survey and fact-finding inquiries. It means that it is been there in the society. Just we will be telling what, where, when it has been happened. Okay. Example, we can say for census. We can say for census, survey taking, case studies. These all can be given as an example for this descriptive based studies. Okay, we can say survey, we can say census, we can say about case studies. These are all the types of descriptive research. So what they have been running, take an example of census. They'll come home by home. They'll be asking how many members are there in the family, how many male are there, how many female are there, how many children are there, what is your age, what occupation you do, what is your business, all the details will be asked. Can we change any of these things? Can any of the family members can be increased or decreased? No, we cannot do anything. So there is no control over the variables that are there in that research of descriptive research. And that we call it as what? Descriptive. So it works on fact-finding inquiries. Facts. Just they work on facts. This number of population is there in Tamil Nadu. This number of population is there in Andhra Pradesh. This number of population is there in Maharashtra. In each and every state, we have so many male and female and children. And male has been working. This number of people are working. This number of people are non-working. Number of children are vaccinated. Number of children are non-vaccinated. That's all. They will be giving me the state of art of current affairs. State of art. At present, what is the things? That's all. So they will describe the population, a situation, or a phenomenon. And that we call it as a descriptive research. Where this descriptive research means this descriptive research can be, it can be qualitative, or it can be quantitative. Yes, it can be qualitative type of research or it can be a quantitative of research. Depends upon the content. Okay, depends upon the content. It can be a qualitative type of research. Depends upon some things. It can be a quantitative type of research. Okay, yes, right. Next. So next we have what? Historical research and action research. What do you mean by historical research? Historical research means where it will be going for history and it will be looking at the facts, what has been happened, and explaining why it has been happened. That's all. Here also I cannot change. See, in some researches we have a concept of no control over variables. No control over variables. What does it mean is, variables means what? Who are all a part of the research we call variables. Who are all the part of the research we call the variables. There are some research where we cannot control the variable. In history and all, it has been already happened before. I cannot go and change. So there we'll be saying there is no control over variables in historical research. If you take the before one, right? Descriptive research, right? When I'm going to take census for my hometown means, I cannot go and change the number of children who are born in that family. I cannot increase or I cannot decrease. So in those studies where we cannot have a control over the variables. Variables, the people who are there in the research, we call it as the variables. So in historical research, it works on to interpret the facts and explain the cause of events and their effect in the present event. That's all. Say example, I given PS2, take Ponniyin Selvan 2. It is a historical film. That's all. They will be reading the literatures, reading the stories and all what has been happened, and they've been depicted as a film. That's all. Okay. There are many archaeological centers, archaeological research centers, and there is a Indian Council for Research is there. Sorry, Historical Institute, Research Institute is there. Indian Council for Historical Research Institute is there. And what they do is, they'll be just find out what has been happened in those days through literatures, through some kind of cave paintings, right? So having that as the source of record, they'll be doing some historical research, and the data will be realized mainly on archival data, official document. Okay, these are the things where they take as the source of literature. They are said to be the source of literature. So historical research means what? Just going back, exploring what has been done, and will be reported. That's all. And it has some kind of a historical importance will be there in historical research. And it suffers to external criticism and internal criticism. What do you mean by external criticism and internal criticism is, historical research means what? Going just researching something about the things which have been happened in the history. So in that research we have external criticism and internal criticism. External criticism and internal criticism. What do you mean by external criticism is the validity of the source. If I take any kind of carvings, right? This is a carving, right? So I have to make a validity. This is the source of this particular century, or this king has been made this, or during this time this has been made. I have to give an external criticism. I have to give the validity of this source. The validity of the source, we call it as the external criticism. Okay, and internal criticism means what? Seeing at this picture, I have to able to understand with what intention they have drawn this image. With what intention they have sculptured this thing, we are supposed to be able to explore, and that we call internal criticism. So what is external criticism? In historical research, whenever we do external criticism means it is the validity of the source. The validity of the source. So we have to say, see, this is the sculpture which has been done during this period, this century by this king. We have to say, this is validity of the source. If we say internal criticism means I should be able to explore what is the meaning of this one. That is internal criticism. Only if I can able to do the proper exploration of things, I can do a proper research. So it suffers from external criticism and internal criticism. Note down as the keyword for historical research to identify the historical research. Yes, clear? Here also I cannot control over any variables. External means authentic. Then only authentic is not the meaning. External criticism means the validity of the source. Of which source I am doing the research, right? It can be a cave painting, it can be a palm script, or it can be any kind of sculptures which has been carvings there in the stone carvings, it can be. So I have to tell this is being done during this period by this people, and that we call external criticism. And the content inside the things has to be explored properly, and that we call internal criticism. Yes, clear? Clear? Yes? Yes. So then we move to action research. What do you mean by action research? So applied and action. So applied means, I said, bulks in different forms, right? Similarly, action research is to aims to investigate and solve an issue. Investigate and solve an issue. If there was a big issue in a college, right, we have to get down and we have to do a research and we have to submit a report, and that we call action research. You understand? It is easy to remember. Action means what? There will be a problem will be going on. Will be a committee will be formed. We have to do a research, go and inquire the people, and we have to come with a solution and come with a report, and that we call action research. It is to investigate and solve an issue. So there will be some problem in the system. What we'll be doing is we'll be improving the system by doing a research, and that research we call action research. So here it is being given by whom? It is proposed by Qualitative. And this action research is always cyclic in nature. It is always cyclic in nature. It is plan, act, observe, reflect. PAOR. PAOR. Okay, PAOR. Clear? Plan, act, observe, and reflect. So the keywords for action research is amelioration, improving the system. These are all the keywords that can be used in terms of action research. Yes. Clear? Note down the keywords. Action research, good level, cyclic in nature. It is used to investigate and solve an issue. Okay, and the keywords are improving, ameliorating the existing system, and the cyclic nature is PAOR, plan, act, observe, and reflect. Yes. Next we move to exploratory research and explanatory research. What do you mean by exploratory research? Means start with a little knowledge and start with little or explore. I want to explore things. Whenever I do exploration, I start with a little knowledge. I will have some kind of knowledge, but I want to get deep into it to understand more about that subject, and that we call it as what? Exploration, and that we call it as exploration. And by doing that exploration, what I can get is I can get the in-depth background knowledge about the topic. What are all the steps of exploratory research? Is identifying the problem, hypothesize a solution, designing a methodology, collect and analyze the data, come up with an ideas. So this is an things of exploratory research. Usually you can have an example of exploring things. If you want to explore some place, right? If I want to explore a place called X, I want to explore a place X. So how we say I want to explore this place X means I would have enough knowledge about that X place and going deep into it by studying some literature, by looking at some videos, or getting directly into this place, which gives me more ideas, more insights about that particular place X. Similarly, exploratory research means here we can do the feasibility study here, and it will be useful for pilot study. What do you mean by pilot study? Pilot study means what? Before getting into the area, we'll be checking out whether it is possible or not. Okay, and we'll be checking with a small sample, and that we call pilot study. So understanding the groundwork of our analysis, in-depth background knowledge. So these are the steps of exploratory research. What do you mean by explanatory research? This has a question why and how. Why and how. So goal is to explain why or how a previously studied phenomenon takes place. See, here they are doing explanation. They are giving explanation. Explain means already it has been happened. I am just going to explain you how it has been happened. That's all. Here, what do you mean by exploration? I am going to explore new things inside from that. That is explore. So see the difference between exploratory and explanatory. Here they will be identifying the problem. Where to go. Here they will develop a question. I'll be already happened thing is there. I'm going to explain you the concept. I'm going to formulate an hypothesis, design a method. What is the major difference between this and this is only one point. In explanatory, I'm going to predict the future. Okay. In explanatory, I'm going to come up with the new ideas, with the new avenues. That is exploratory research and explanatory research. Clear? Learners, clear? Okay, clear? Yes? Okay. Note down the keywords. Next, ex post facto and empirical and conceptual research. Ex post facto means what? It has been already happened. I'm just going to study what has been happened. That's all. So the ex post facto, the researchers cannot directly manipulate the variables. See, I told you before, right? There are some research where we cannot control the variables. Where we cannot control the variables which has been already happened before. And now I'm just going to do what? I'm going to study what has been happened, and that we call X means before, post means now. I'm just talking about the facts. I'm going to discuss about the facts, that is ex post facto. X means what? Before. Post means after the event has been happened. Post means after the event has been happened. After the event has been happened, what tell me about the facts. So right, I'm going to present the facts which has been happened already before. And that kind of research we call it as ex post facto research. And the next research called empirical research and conceptual research. So empirical research are research which have been done based on the experience of the researcher. Okay, based on the experience, based on the experiments, right? We call it as empirical research. Conceptual research are research which is being with respect to the philosophical thinkers. Philosophical thinkers, right? They will be telling about religion, spirituality, and all. We can tell it as a conceptual research. They work on concepts. They work on philosophies. Okay, and that we call it as what? Conceptual research. Conceptual research. Clear with the types of research? Is it clear? Learners, is it clear? Yes. Learners, it is clear? Learners, it is clear? Yes, yes. Yes. Next. So next we move to phenomenological research, ethnography research, narrative research, case study research. One important point about all these research are they belong to qualitative type of research. They all belong to qualitative type of research. Ma'am, what do you mean by qualitative research? The qualitative type of research works on words, works on meanings. They works on direct interpretation of the people, direct interaction of people, direct interaction of people. Right? Here they works on these concepts, and that we call it as what? Qualitative data. There is no need of numbers here, no need of statistical test here, right? And this search we call it as what? Qualitative research. Phenomenological, ethnography, narrative, and case study. We'll see one by one. What do you mean phenomenological research? It is a study of a phenomena. Study of a phenomena. What do you mean by phenomena? I told you before. Tsunami. Okay, tsunami is the phenomena which happened. So I'm just getting into the people. I'll be exploring them. What is the mindset of you before tsunami and after tsunami? How we have overcome from the situation, right? That all things when we discuss to those people, and that we call phenomenological research. right? Study about the phenomena, going and talking to tsunami affected people, going and talking to the prisoners, okay, prisoners family members, just going into them and asking about their lifestyle now, how it has been impacted. So after the phenomena, right, how the life has been impacted, and that's called phenomenological research. Yes, this will be done in social science kind of research. Yes, tsunami Pritika, exactly right. Another one is ethnography. Next one. What do you mean by ethnography? The study of culture. Study of culture, style, habits, and all these things we call it as what? Ethnography. So getting into the people and knowing about them, discussing them, or about their culture, about their food habits, about their style, everything we call it as what? Ethnography. Ethnography. We can go for a tribe and we can ask them about their culture, about their lifestyle, how they lived, everything. So this talks about what? Ethnography. See here in ethnography, there they work only on words, whatever they say. There is no any kind of questionnaire, getting surveys, nothing. Here works everything on means of interaction between the person, where here the participant's perspective is most important. The participant's perspective is most important. Okay, perspective means their viewpoint is very important. So they will sit and talk with them and get a direct interaction. They will record something and they will be okay. Yes, comes under the study of culture. Yes, exactly. Next comes narrative research. What do you mean by narrative research? Narrative means what? Narrations. Narrations. What do you mean by narration? Narrative research, where this focuses on stories, right? This focuses on the stories. Okay, focuses on the stories given by the variable, that is the individual who is by the individual, right? And all these things will be put into an order, and that research will be presented, and that we call narrative research. Okay, where this will be based on the living experience. This will be based on living experiences of the people. Okay, collection of tales. Collection of tales of stories. Tales means what? Stories. If we go for village and all, right, we can get the living experience of people. We can get the collection of tales about their own culture, right? Sorry, own living, and that we call it as narrative research. Okay, see, this also comes under the qualitative type. Okay, next one, case study. What do you mean by case study? Case study, sometimes it falls under qualitative, sometimes quantitative, based on the study, right? When I do numerical case study, right, when I do scientific case study, it works on numbers. I'll be giving you with a problem. I have to go deep into the problem. Dig into the problem to find the solution. Okay, dig into the problem to find the solution, and in some cases it can be of a qualitative type of research, and some cases it be a quantitative type of research. Documentary research, Yamini, taking documentaries. Yes, we can take documentaries by collecting all these kind of narrations. Yes, by collecting all these things, we can take a documentary. Yes, correct. Exactly. Yes. Court trial case studies. Court trial case studies, see in marketing research and all, will be given a case study. Why it happens, go and explore and come. Why this case has been happened like this. That is a case study. Giving an issue and studying deep into it. Giving a problem, studying deep into it. Studying a problem by going deep into it. That is case study. Okay? Yes. 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 Apart from this, we have few researches called longitudinal research. Longitudinal research. Cross-sectional research. Longitudinal research and cross-sectional research are going to want. Take an example of a pregnant woman. The pregnant woman, first month, 3rd month, 6th month and 9th month. So that one single woman is being studied on all these period. Over this period, the woman will be studied. Okay, the same way, same object will be studied throughout the period of time, and it's called longitudinal research. When I take cross-sectional research, I am going to mall. I just want to know about the customer's purchase habit. Then what I'll be doing, I'll be getting into the mall by 9:30. I'll be here for 12:30. Whoever enters into the mall, okay, whoever enters into the mall, I'll be giving the questionnaire to fill and just interacting with them and getting the answers. Right? Whoever getting into the mall, I'll be interacting with them and I'll be getting the answers. See here, different people, but only one interaction. Here what? Same people, but what? Same people, I'm doing exploring them. Right? That we call it as what? With different types. Different type. And that we call longitudinal research. Don't forget longitudinal research, cross-sectional research. Okay, and we have another type of research called archival research. Archival research means what? These are all the topic which has been asked in this term, this time of question, archival research and all. Archival research means what? Archival research, historical records. Studying the historical records. If you go for older institutions or organizations or temples or museums and all, right, there they'll be having archives, and that archives they'll be having the historical records maintained. Manuscripts will be maintained in a closed one, right, closed box and all, they'll be maintained, and that we call it as archives. In library and all, we have a separate section of archives where they'll be having the very important documents of that institution or organization or temple, right, which will be maintained, and that we call it as archival research. Going into it and doing the research we call archival. Clear? Yes? Yes? Clear with this point? Next, we move to experimental research. Is it boring or revising the concept? Are you able to revise? Yes. Next, we move to experimental research. What do you mean by experimental research? Where this we call it as this is scientific in nature. This is scientific in nature, and in experimental research we use quantitative type of data, quantitative method of research. Yes, thank you Bhavani, Divya, Pritika, Yamini, Chandrika, Kishori, thank you Lekha, Vanita, Nair, thank you. Please do revise. So quantitative method of research will be applied in experimental research. Okay, so it works here, it works on numbers. What are all the terms that we are supposed to know about experimental research is, in experimental research we have some terms called variables. Independent variable, dependent variable, okay, extraneous variable, confounding variable. There are variables which have been applied in experimental research, and we have a term called randomness. These are all the characteristics of experimental research, randomness. And we have a concept called manipulation. See, in experimental research we do manipulation. Why? Because all these variables are under control. The environment is under the control. We can manipulate, right? Environment we can, variables we can manipulate. Okay, and we say it is the controlled. Okay, in the control environment, it's controlled environment or controlled group we can use in this experimental research. Okay, in this experimental research. And the important term is cause and effect. cause and effect. So these are the important characteristics of experimental research. Okay, so it's scientific in nature. Quantitative method of research will be done here. The variables are based an important role: independent variable, dependent variable, extraneous variable, confounding variable, and randomness will be there. Randomness means I can select a random variable from the thing. I can select a random data, and that will be authentic. And we can do manipulation with respect to variables we can do, and we can control the environment, and we can control the test group also. What do you mean by test group is, I can, the number of data I select from a sample, from a representation, right? I can control who have to be selected or how they have to react, everything I can do control over the thing. Okay, right? That is called controlled environment. And cause and effect. What do you mean cause and effect? Experimental research is mainly depends on cause and effect. Who will be the cause? Here I am the independent variable who is giving you content, and you are the dependent variable. The effect can be seen on you. So if I want to see the change in the effect, right, I want to do some change in the cause. Okay, whenever I change my parameters, whatever things I'm giving, when I change something, that change can be reflected on the dependent variable, that is the dependent variable student. Clear? Yes. Yes, exactly. Clear? Clear? Yes? Yes? No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Archana, what is this? Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I can't understand. We are doing revision. Yes. And next we move to quantitative and qualitative type of research. Quantitative and qualitative. So far we have seen the different types of research and the methods of research. We are going to either some research belongs to qualitative and some research belongs to quantitative. So whenever we use qualitative type of research, what we will be doing there? In qualitative type of research, where we will be talking about, I'll be telling you which all things we know, and then I'll go to the unknown part. Where all the things which I've covered, I will go with those things, and then I'll go to the part which we have not explored so far. In qualitative type of research, everything will be in form of words. Whereas in quantitative type of research, right, I will hide my image. In quantitative type of research, everything is based on numbers, graph, tables. Only will be in numbers, measurements, that's all. Where in qualitative type of research, the data size is very small. Data size. Okay, the sample size which I select is very small, but comparatively in quantitative it is very huge. In quantitative type of research, the number of respondents, participants will be huge. We will work with lakhs of data, crores of data. When it comes with qualitative type of data, the respondent size will be small compared to quantitative type. And types of questions that we use for qualitative type of research is open-ended question. What do you mean by open-ended questions? Open-ended means I can give my own point of view of answer can be given. I can give you a descriptive answer. I can give you my own subjective answer. It depends upon the subject who is talking about the content. If I want to know about the my place culture, right? If you come here and ask about my own place, means if you come and ask me, I will give my own ideologies, my viewpoints about my place. If I go and ask another person, he or she will give their own viewpoints about this place, right? So it will be a descriptive in nature. They will give their own viewpoints, and that kind of questions we called as what? Open-ended questions. What do you mean closed-ended questions? Means you are supposed to select either this or that. Okay, you like idli or dosa? It means we have to say only idli or dosa. You should not say I like puri. Right? Closed-ended means I'll be giving options to you, and you have to select within that point. And that we call to closed-ended. Okay, it is called closed-ended. Idli or puri. Sorry, idli or dosa. That's all. You have to select either idli or dosa. And I can measure how many idlis are being selected by the people, how many dosas are selected by the people. I cannot tell which is not in the option puri. Okay, if suppose there is an option of others, then it is okay. Okay, if not, I cannot go for this option. I can only confine it to select only out of these two options, and that kind of questions we call the closed-end questions. Yes, and characterized is about what? understanding context, complexity, subjectivity. And in case of quantitative type of research, it works on testing. I'll be testing because everything is predefined. I'll be testing, I'll be measuring the concept. It will be objective in nature and it is a replicability. Okay, and now I move to the first 2 points. So based on things, right, here he'll be exploring ideas, formulating hypotheses or theories. Hence it is descriptive in nature. You come and ask me about my city, I'll be telling my own point. Similarly, you ask for 10 different people's, 10 different people viewpoints will be collected and each one's viewpoints will give you more ideas. So what will be done? I can explore more ideas and I will formulate my hypothesis and theory based on the things which you have got from me. Yes, that is the focus of qualitative research. But in quantitative research, if I want to find out how many students are there in the class, how they performed in their exams, means what? I have to tell them how much of score they have got, right? I have going to test the hypothesis, right? Whether they have passed their exam or failed the exam, that's all. So here what I am going to do is I am going to test the hypothesis. I'm going to test the hypothesis. Already it is being defined. Already the theory has been given. Okay. I'm going to test the theory whether it has been worked out or not. Okay. So that we called as what? Quantitative type of research. So in qualitative type of research, I'll be summarizing, categorizing, interpreting. Based on all the 10 different viewpoints, I'll be doing what? Summarizing the concepts. But in quantitative type of research, it is a experiment. It can be done in a laboratory. It can be done by means of collecting the questionnaire and survey, where those things will be put into a software and a mathematical format or a statistical way. I'll be analyzing things and will be giving a result. And so here what? It is being done by testing the hypothesis. Here it is generating the hypothesis. That is the difference. Okay, you come here, talk to people, get the things, and then you create. Oh, this is about Richie. Okay, very good, super. But when you go to quantitative types, everything has been predefined. I'm going to test whether it is right or wrong. That's all. Okay, so that is quantitative type of research, and this is qualitative type of research. And here it works on maths and statistical analysis. Very important point. Yes, clear? So now we are going to say, in small, qualitative research works on why question. Quantitative research works on how many, how much. This is the purpose. Okay, this occurs why it happens. That is quality. Okay, quantity means how many, how much. It works with the numbers. And data type is with what? It is kind of an observation, symbols, words that can be used. But in case of quantitative, right? In case of quantitative, it works with what? Statistical results it can work. And here we can do observation and interpretation, and here it can measure and test. Everything in forms of numbers. Here we will be using some kind of a non-statistical analysis methods can be applied. Here some statistical analysis method can be applied. Clear? Yes. Yes. So now what I am going to do is I am going to consolidate the types of research which all comes under qualitative research, which all comes under quantitative type of research. This PDF will be available for, yes, Gauri, yes. Yes, this I will upload in the app. Yes. So with this, all the things that we have studied, right, I am going to conclude which all the types of research going to comes under qualitative, inductive, subjective or quantitative. See, these are all the analyzed words. Whenever I say qualitative, this will be an inductive research. Whenever I say it's an inductive, it is a subjective research. Subjective means what? It is particular to general. So these are all the allied words. Okay. Similarly, quantitative. Quantitative, deductive, objective, general to particular. Now we will study in the next slides what is inductive and deductive and all. Okay. Right. Now we will see what are all the different types of research comes under this either parts. Okay. See the fundamental research. Note down these points. Learners, please note down these points. Fundamental research, action research, exploratory research. Yes, Kaushik. No, don't worry. I'm giving you. See, I'm giving you this example. Analytical research, historical research, ethnography research, phenomenological research, narrative research, and one more point is sometimes a case study may be qualitative. Case study will be qualitative on some cases. In some cases it will be of quantitative nature. It all depends. Okay, it depends. Okay. Similarly, what all comes under quantitative research is experiment. Experimental research, descriptive, causal research. Cause. Okay, there will be a cause and I have to explain why it has been happened. So descriptive, causal research and all comes under quantitative type of research. And casual comparative, correlation. Whenever I want to compare the correlational research, right, they all comes under this quantitative type of research. Okay, right. Next. Or resist exposed. So these are all the types of research where I can generalize as qualitative and quantitative type of research. Phenomenological research, narrative research, okay, ethnography, anthropological research, all these archival research, historical research, they all comes under qualitative. Qualitative means I work with the words of the people. But in quantitative, I works with the statistical numbers, right? I'll work with the facts. I'll be doing some kind of analysis. Data analysis will be done. Here, there is no data analysis. Here will be the words will be analyzed. The meanings will be analyzed. The interpretations will be done. Okay. Here, for example, if I want to know about the tribal people, I want to explore the living style of tribal people means I'll be going to that tribal place, live along with them, spend my time with them and explore more things from them, and will be studying about those things that will be documented, and that we call it as what? Qualitative research. But quantitative research, which I'll be doing it in the laboratory. I'll be doing it in the laboratories. I'll be doing it in terms of experiments, right? And that we call quantitative type of research. Kaushik, now it's clear? Now it's clear, Kaushik? Yes, that is qualitative type of research. Whenever I want to do historical research, I want to know about my history. I'll be getting about reading the literature, studying some kind of a books, right, through which I can know about that history. And that is about qualitative research. Quantitative, doing it in laboratories, doing some scientific experiments and all, quantitative type of research. Okay, qualitative means what? Particular to general. Quantitative means what? General to particular. Yes, clear. Very good. Super. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, how's your energy level? It's been dropping down. Need a break for 1 minute? Yes, or shall I move? Survey. Survey means, survey is quantitative. Yes, survey is quantitative sometimes. Yes, survey is quantitative sometimes. When I ask you to filling up some questionnaires where it has some kind of a quantitative data collection, means it comes under quantitative type of data. Yes. Very good, super, good. Very good, super. Now we move to the next type of, next approach of research, that is deductive or inductive. Next approach we move to deductive and inductive. What do you mean by deductive? What do you mean by inductive? Deductive means what? It moves from, thank you all. Thank you all. Deductive means what? It moves from general to particular. Here it moves from particular to general. Yes. Here it moves from particular to general to particular. It moves from particular to general in inductive theory. Yes? Okay. What do you mean by? It starts with what? It starts with the theory. It tests the hypothesis. Observation will be done. And it will be confirmed. That is with respect to deductive approach. Deductive approach, the general problem will be given. I will dig deep into it and will find the particular source or point where the problem has come. Yes, general to particular. Yes, G to P, general to particular. What do you mean by inductive approach? What do you mean by inductive approach? Please do 1 minute. 1 minute, okay? 1 minute. Hi learners, I've come. Thank you for waiting. Since it was a power cut, I just connected with my thing. Is it clear? Yes, clear? Yes. 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 Okay. Yes. Yes. Thanks for waiting. Thank you. So next we move to deductive research and inductive research. Okay, deductive, it starts from theory. So they know what to be done and that hypothesis will be tested. And then what they will be doing? They will be confirming the observed situation, what has been happening, and the pattern will be confirmed, right? And that we call it as a deductive research. Deductive research. In observation, what it will be done is the data collection will be done, the methodology will be taken, the experiments will be analytical things will be done, and then the interpretation will be given at the last part. But when I take the inductive research, what will happen is they will start with the observation. The pattern will be identified, and then they will do analysis, and then they will confirm. Then they will confirm, and this we call it as what? Inductive approach. They start with particular point, move towards general. Here the observation will be done. Okay, the observation will be done, and then the pattern will be identified. The tentative hypothesis will be created. Here what the major difference here is, the hypothesis will be tested here. This is the major difference, noted down. The hypothesis will be tested here whether it is right or wrong. Here, based on the observation of the people, right, they will be generating the hypothesis. They will be generating the hypothesis. Note down this point, very clear. Hypothesis testing will be done in the part of deductive research. Hypothesis generation will be done in the part of inductive approach. Right? Why? Because they get into the people, they try to know about them, and then they generate ideas. With that ideas, they generate an hypothesis. And that we called a hypothesis generation done in the inductive research. Inductive means what? What are all the allies words? Qualitative research. This is how we have to remember in your exam. Inductive means qualitative. Qualitative means subjective in nature. Yes, subjective in nature. And this is qualitative data set. Okay, subjective in nature. And it moves from what? Particular to general. So this is the synonymical word that we have to remember when it comes in the examination. Similarly for deductive. Deductive approach means what? They use quantitative type of data, and they will be objective in type. Objective means only one focal point will be there. But in qualitative, we can have different perspective. These are all the keywords that we have to remember. In deductive, it is objective in nature. The focus is what? Objective nature. Here it is subjective in nature. Okay. Here we have to concentrate only on the experimental setup. But here it is flexible. Here it is flexible. Note down the point, all the type of questions, right? All the keywords, it has been asked in many questions. I am bringing down in that one slide. Okay. Flexible means what? The research process can be flexible in terms of inductive approach. How? I can change the process. I can ask one people now, then next day I can ask. But in experiment, everything will be time oriented, systematic, right? Here everything is systematic. If I want to do it now, definitely I have to do it now. I cannot change or postpone or something. So it is non-flexible. But here in inductive approach, it is flexible. Yes. One very important point is, here it is testing the hypothesis. Here it is generating the hypothesis. That is the most important points between the deductive approach and inductive approach. Yes, clear? Clear? Yes. We have another more approach with this thing. We have another more concepts called empirico-inductive. One time the question, not one time, many times it has been asked. Yes, Kaushik, I will repeat. Hypothetico-deductive. Hypothetico-deductive and empirico-inductive. Okay, what do you mean by hypothetico-deductive is, it is an approach, right, where it works on scientific theory. It works on scientific theory. Okay, that is quantitative approach we discussed right before approach, right? That is the hypothetico-deductive approach. This is being given by Karl Popper. He is the person who proposed this hypothetico-deductive approach. Okay, right? He stated that all the observation that has been made, right, the output has been made, right, it has been from the observations, right? This method we call it as hypothetico-deductive approach. Note it down. Yes. Okay. and it is a scientific way of approach. Scientific approach uses the quantitative data method. Quantitative method to solve this problem. Quantitative method. And in the opposite, we have an empirico-inductive method, and this works on the observation. This is based on what? Observation and experience. I told before, right? Empirical research, it is based on experiences, same concept. Observation and experiences, and which what it develops a phenomenon, a concept, or theory. So that we call it as empirico-inductive research. Okay. Yes. So they work on induction and verification. Induction and verification. They verify things. Okay, they get into the field and they will verify whether it has been happened or not. What do you mean by induction research? Inductive research means what? Inductive research means what? Particular to general. Particular to general. They'll be getting deep into it. And this is about empirico-inductive. Here it uses what? Qualitative type of research. Qualitative method of research. Yes? Clear? Here it works on only on numerical data. Here it works on numerical. Here it works on beliefs. Belief, values, words of the people. With those it works. Empirico-inductive. Clear? Yes. So see, I'll just repeat these two things. Approaches, research approaches, deductive approach, inductive approach. Deductive approach means what? They move from general to particular, inductive particular to general. So it starts with a theory which has been already defined, and they work on the hypothesis whether it is true or false, it is applicable or not. That is hypothesis testing. And then they move towards an observation. They observe what all the things happen based on the theory, and they will confirm yes, it is true or it is false. When we say, it is called as a deductive approach. And here what they are doing, they are testing the hypothesis whether it is true or false, right? And that we call deductive approach. And what method we use? We use quantitative method of data to explore, and the focus is on objective. One single objective will be there, one single reality will be there, and the research process will be what? It will be a systematic way. It comes one after the other. But on the other hand, we have inductive approach, and that is particular to general. We make generalization, right? And here it starts from observation, and the pattern is being observed, and analysis will be done and confirmed. For this, I gave you example, right? You want to know about some kind of a people. You go into their place and you'll talk different kinds of people reside in that place. Each one will give their viewpoints about their place, and everything will be observed, and the pattern will be recorded, and you come and sit and do analysis, and you finally you confirm, okay, this place has this this kind of things is here, this kind of things we can't get, all the things, and finally will be confirmed. And here what they do, here they do hypothesis generation, here they do hypothesis testing, and they work on qualitative method of research. They rely on words, they rely on their meanings, their interpretations will be done. And here the opposite side, they are subjective in nature. Subjective means what? Each person's viewpoints will be there, it will be taken into consideration. The research process will be flexible. Flexible means what? They can change as per their need, okay? As per the availability, they can change. That we call flexible. Here it is not flexible, it is systematic in nature, right? So this we call deductive approach and inductive approach. We have other two terms like hypothetico-deductive and empirico-inductive. Clear? It is scientific, based on scientific theory. It is based on observation and experience. Okay, this works on quantitative method of data, this works on qualitative method of data. Here it works with the numericals, here it works with beliefs, values and words. Clear? Hope clear. Hope clear. Next I move to research process. Please clear, put your thumbs up so that I can move over. If you're clear, put yes or thumbs up. I'll give something so that I understand that you have cleared. I'll move to the next one. So far we have covered the research, the characteristics, the objectives, types of research, methods of research. Inside we have seen different types and quantitative, qualitative, deductive and inductive approaches. Okay, these are all the concepts we have covered. And next we move to research process. Yes, done. Thank you, Bhavani. Thank you. Next we move to research process. In research process we have major. Okay, major we have 7 steps of research process. First one will be, thank you all. Thank you for huts. Huts. Thank you. Yes. Very good. Kindly do like the session, those who have not, please. Okay. Whenever we say it's a research process, right? We said, right, in qualitative we are flexible research process. In quantitative we have a systematic way of research process. So when it comes to a generalized research process, these are the 7 steps. Defining a research problem, review of literature, formulating the hypothesis, preparing the research design, data collection, data analysis, interpretation and report writing. So these are the important steps of research that we follow. Okay, so defining the research problem has what? They'll be reviewing the concepts. Thank you. They'll be reviewing the concepts, right? And theories will be defined here. Everything will be done in the part of what? Defining the research problem. Okay, right? And similarly, review of literature will be doing the same concept. We'll be doing the previous research findings will be reviewed here. Previous research findings will be reviewed. What has been done before, everything will be reviewed here in the part of review of literature. Formulating hypothesis means what? Hypothesis means I'll be formulating what I am going to do. With the research problem I have, I'll be confining with what variable I'm going to check what variable. Okay, with what variable I'm going to check what variable. That will be done in the part of formulating the hypothesis. And then I'll be preparing a research design. What will be done in the research design is what kind of tool I'm going to use. Okay, what kind of tool I'm going to use, what population I'm going to select. About the population selection I'll be talking about. Okay, what software I'm going to use. Okay, all these things will be given. What next I'm going to do, the sequence of operations I'll be given, the research design will be given. And then comes to data collection. Data collection is very important point in a research where it has a major contribution. Till this we can do. Okay, whenever we do data collection, it has to be reliable, it has to be credible. To whom we select, are we selecting the right number of sample we are selecting, are they all giving unbiased answer or not, are they giving biased answer? All those things has to be very much conscious. So this area, right, the data collection, analysis and interpretations are the most vulnerable part of research. These three are the vulnerable part of the research. Okay, why it is said to be a vulnerable part is there we can have a possibility of what mistake may happen. If a mistake happens, mean the whole research will get into it may fail. Okay, because the data collected from a wrong source will lead to a failure research, right? So we have to collect from a correct way, correct people, right number of sample has to be selected, and the analysis tool has to be very good, and it has to give a correct data. All the things has to be done under the part of analysis, and interpretation has to be done. So these 3 parts are said to be the most vulnerable part in a research process. Yes, clear? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Note down the 7 points and about each and every point. Okay, right. Next we move to sampling. What do you mean by sampling? What do you mean by sampling? Sampling means what? So here I am going to do data collection, right? So whenever I want to do data collection, I cannot something just like that I go and collect the data. I want to tell from where I want to collect the data, from which people I want the data. I cannot go and collect from all the people. So I want to have the representation of that sampling people, right? So I have to select the target people who I'm going to select. From that, I have to select a set of people. And that set of people we call it as a sample. The target people is that I want to study about the people who do 9 standard in this particular city, means I have to find out that particular city, and in that particular city I have to find out the students who are doing 9th standard. Okay, so I have found out the city, I have found out the 9th standard students. I cannot go and collect all the data from all the 9th standard students. I can take a representation of that 9th standard students, right? That small representation I call it as a sample. That 9th standard student I call it as a target population. Okay, so in what way I select that thing, I call it as a sampling. The process of selecting a representative group from a population under study, we call it as a sampling. The target group, we call it as the target population. Representation, we say, and the sample is what? A small group, right? A small group, a subset of individuals selected for a purpose of study or investigation, and they as they call it as a sample. And through with sample, what we'll be doing? We'll be doing generalization. We'll be doing generalization. And sometimes that be a reason of biased sample. Biased means what? To my convenience, I may select some people, and that's we call the biased sample. But that biased sample will create what? Will create a wrong output or a wrong result or a failure research. So sampling bias occurs when certain group of individuals are more likely to be included in sample than others, leading to a unrepresentative sample. Unrepresentative sample, and this we called sampling. This we called sampling. Clear? And we move to types of sampling. We have probability sampling and non-probability sampling. Probability sampling means what? In that sample set, everybody who there resides inside that group will get an equal chance of being chosen. Say example, you can say playing cards, right? You can say playing cards. You can say playing cards, right? Playing cards, all the cards will have the equal opportunity of being selected. Okay, you can say dice, right? So when I say dice, the dice can, all the 6 faces can have equal opportunity of being selected. It's called probability sampling. Non-probability sampling means what? I cannot give an opportunity to all the people who are there in the sample group, and that I call it as what? Non-probability sampling. So there may be a chance of bias of being selected to be a part of that research, and that we call non-probability sampling. Yes? Yes. So now we move to the types of sampling. We have probability sampling, non-probability sampling. So probability sampling have simple random, stratified, cluster and systematic sampling. In non-probability sampling, we have convenience, quota, snowball, judgment. Hence, it's being a revision marathon. Please kindly cope up with the speed of me. Okay, don't mistake me. Because whenever you want to do revision, right, we have only 40 more days for the examination. 40 more days for the examination. So every week, in upcoming weeks, we'll be getting more marathons for doing revision with respect to few small concepts. We'll be doing revisions. Similarly, we'll be doing revision with the big concepts. So we can expect in the upcoming weeks we can have more marathons. But here we are doing revision. Okay, we are doing revision. Please kindly go up with the speed. Probability sampling, simple random, stratified, cluster and systematic. Non-probabilistic means convenience, quota, snowball. How can be remembered, ma'am? Triple S C, you can have this for probability sampling. How can you remember for non-probabilistic sampling? Supreme enrichment quota. Okay, SCJQ. So SSC means what? Simple random, stratified, cluster, systematic. Non-probabilistic sampling means convenience, quota, snowball and judgment sampling. These are the different types of sampling method. First we go with probability sampling. What do you mean by simple random sampling? What do you mean by simple random sampling? Means just selecting every people. Take a playing cards, okay? Take a playing cards. All the playing cards will have 52 cards there, right? Playing cards, 52 cards are there. So all the cards will be given equal chance of being selected. This is the keyword for random sampling. Note it down. Equal chance of being selected. This is the keyword. And similarly, next one we have what? Systematic sampling. What do you mean by systematic sampling? Systematic sampling means every ith person or ith item will be selected. Every ith item will be selected. Example, if my class have 100 students, okay, if my class have 100 students, every 10th student will be a part of my sample. Every 10th student will be a part of my sample, and that is a systematic way of sampling. So my class have the 100 population is the whole target population. In that I have to get a small sample. How the sample will be done? I will be selecting every 10th person from the sampling, and the 10th person constitutes together, they will create a sample size. Clear? That is the systematic sampling. Every 10th item. The next, the third one, we move to what? Simple systematic stratified. Stratified sampling. Stratified sampling means what? The population, the whole population is being divided into groups. The whole population is being divided into homogeneous groups. Note down, that is very important. Homogeneous groups. Homogeneous means what? They will be having a common characteristics among them. They all belong to blue group. They all belong to red colored dress. They all belong to some common characteristics will be there. Based on that characteristics, they will be formed into groups. Okay, they'll be formed into groups, and from that group they'll be selecting people from each group. Okay, right? There'll be homogeneous group inside the group. They'll be homogeneous, and from that they'll be selected to form a sample, and that will be heterogeneous in nature. How, ma'am? We can't understand. No, I have a whole population here. Okay, and see, blue, yellow, red, green, blue, yellow. So what I'll be doing this, from this population I'll be making a homogeneous group like this: yellow, blue, green. So I have formed a homogeneous group, and from this group I will form a group called blue, yellow and green. Clear? What happened is, here is, this is a population. From this population I make a group. This is homogeneous in nature. See, I created a groups. This group I called strata. See, inside every group all are similar, right? Yellow, blue, green. So that is, inside a group everybody will be homogeneous, and from that I will be selecting a one, and that's called heterogeneous, and they will be heterogeneous in group. Each belong to different characteristics. Yes. So when I see from outside, everybody is heterogeneous in nature. Everybody belongs to yellow, blue, green, right? Okay, right. It's done when heterogeneous populations, the different groups are there, and then specific will be selected. Exactly. Clear? Shall I move to the next one? So this we call it as what? We call it as a stratified sampling. Yes. Okay, see, we are doing PYQ practice course at our Unify study app. Those who are new to this channel, please do kindly join for having a more PYQ practice from the latest pattern of June and March 2023 questions. Okay, so the courses has been going on where we are doing PYQ discussions of latest pattern questions with solution in all the 10 units, and we are doing one day, one DI daily, and we having a clearing session with the people, and weekly once we having revision test. That this week, today evening at 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. right, we have a revision mock test on research aptitude. So far we have discussed many topics here, and we have discussed in YouTube also, and we have discussed in the app also. With all these things, consolidated things, today evening 3 to 4:30 at Unify Study app, we are going to have a revision mock test. Please do join the session for all the PYQs that we can discuss in the app at 3 o'clock in the evening. Take your lunch, have some rest, and join back again at 3 o'clock to 4:30 so that we can have a quick revision on research aptitude. Okay, those who are new to the app and the platform, please do kindly visit unifystudy.com website, and there we have a link to about this course. The course contents will be given, how to join, all the details will be given, and those who all wish to join computer science can also join along with this UGC NET Paper 1. Computer science is being taken by Priyanka Chatterjee ma'am, and paper 1 will be handled by me, and I am handling the classes at daily at the app at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. from Monday to Saturday. Sorry, not 10:30, 9:30. 8 to 9:30. Yes, for more details, please kindly to visit the Unify Study website, and you can download Unify Study app from the Google Play Store. Yes, okay, now let's get to the concept. So we have discussed what? Stratified sampling, and then we had one more sampling, right? We had one more sampling. That sampling we call this what? In probabilistic sampling. In probabilistic sampling, we have one more sampling, and that we called a cluster sampling. What do you mean by cluster sampling? We have a cluster sampling. Cluster is also similar to stratified sampling, but what is the difference is this is similar opposite of stratified. How, ma'am? How it has been opposite is here in that one, in stratified, homogeneous inside and heterogeneous outside. This is in stratified, right? In cluster, what will be happen is it is homogeneous outside and heterogeneous inside. How, ma'am? How, ma'am? See, if I want to take an entire population is here, entire population is here, and this population contains different types of people. Okay, different types of people, and that we call heterogeneous inside. And from that, what I'll be doing is I'll be taking a cluster of people. The cluster of people will be selected. Okay, cluster of people will be selected, and from that I'll be selecting what? This is cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3. I'll be selecting cluster 1. I'll be selecting what? Cluster 1 as a sample for my research. Cluster 1 as my research. And what it has been? It is heterogeneous inside, and when it comes to as a outside, it becomes homogeneous. Okay. So the each cluster is what? It is a representative of the entire population. Okay, it is heterogeneous from inside and homogeneous on the outside. Okay. It is based on the individuals who resides inside. But in stratified, what would be done is I'll be taking a whole population. The stratas will be done, and how the sample is being made is it will be made one from this group, one from this group, one from this group. The sample will be made. But here that one cluster will be taken as the sample, and that we call it as cluster sample. Clear? Yes. Yes, and this cluster sampling is naturally formed group. What do you mean by naturally formed group? What do you mean by naturally formed group? See, based on India as a community, right? India as a country, right? We are all naturally formed as an Indians. And then we have a cluster of people community here. And then each representation will be taken. And that we call it as what? Cluster. Okay. Example, the census that we take, right? Census data. That census data and all comes under the cluster sample. Okay, clear? Yes. So next we move to Non-probabilistic sampling. Non-probability sampling. We have covered this sampling, non-probabilistic sampling and all in our YouTube channel, right? Those who have doubts, please kindly go and clarify. That we have given with more examples. Please kindly go and clarify if there somebody are new to this concept. Non-probabilistic sampling. What are the non-probabilistic sampling? SC, J, Q. First one is snowball. What do you mean by snowball sampling? If I want to do a research, I start with one people, but I need some other people to refer to do more. So what I'll be doing like a snowball. I start with this point. As this snowball rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls, what will happen? It becomes a very big snowball like structure, right? And that we call it as what? Snowball sampling. We call it as what? Snowball sampling. Okay. Next one is C, that is convenience sampling. Convenience sampling is based on the convenience of the researcher. So the sample will be formed based on the convenience of the researcher. See, he is near to me, so I can get data from him. He is my friend of mine, so I can data from him. So based on the convenience of the research, right? When I do research, that is a convenience sampling. Judgment sampling means what? Judgment sampling means I have something predefined in my mind, and with that thing, I'll be applying things, right? Based on the personal subjects, based on the personal expertise, and my personal subjective thinking. When I do some kind of a research, then it will become what? Subjective research, or it can be called it as what? Subjective research. This is always called accidental. This is always called purposive research. Okay. Yes. And Q is nothing but quota. Quota means what? Group of people, right? Quota means what? Group of people will be there, and based on that quotas, when the sampling has been done, and then we call it as a quota sampling. This is also similar kind of creating groups, creating a status. We're creating a status, but it is being done based on the researchers. Okay, based on the researchers, the status will be formed, and then data will be applied. And this we call non-probabilistic sampling. I want to tell you one point with this one. The probabilistic sampling will be applied where? No? In which type of research? This will be applied in the qualitative type of research. But whereas the probabilistic sampling will be applied in the quantitative type of research, method of research. Yes, yet the probabilistic sampling will be applied in the quantitative method of research, and the non-probabilistic sampling will be applied in the qualitative type of research. Sampling means what? It's used for data collection, right? So in qualitative method of research, this method of sampling is being applied. In in quantitative method of research, probabilistic sampling will be applied. Yes? Clear? Yes, clear? Clear. Next, we move to scales of measurement. We have 4 levels of measurements in data. So I have collected my data, and the data will be of 4 types: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. What do you mean by nominal type of data is the data can only be categorized as yes or no. Male, female. Okay. True or false. So for these kinds, I can apply the nominal type of data. So I can categorize how many people have told true, how many people have told false, how many of them are male, how many of them are female. So I can categorize, and right. And ordinal data. What will be ordinal data? Here the data can be categorized, and also it can be ranked. How it can be ranked, ma'am? See, I am telling you, I am taking a survey where it has very happy, and sad. Okay, this is the scale. I have given 3, 2, and 1. I have ranked as what? I have 3 for very happy. I have ranked 2 for happy. I have ranked 1 for sad. So what I can do when I have this kind of data, I can put it in my Excel sheet. I found out how many people have told 3. That 3 rank tells me what? The people have told very happy. What is the number with 2? The 2 has a meaning that whenever I see 2 in that field, I see many number of have voted for happy. Whenever I see the rank 1, I'll be telling the people are very sad. Yes, and this we call it as what? Ordinal data. And this we call ordinal data. See here I am doing categorizing people as how many of them are telling yes, how many of them are male, how many of them have told true. So I have categorized. Here I have categorized, along with I also what? I have ranked them with the 3, 2, 1. Whenever I see 3, it's very happy. Whenever I do, it's very happy. Whenever I see 1, it is sad. So here I'll work with categorization and also with the ranking. So these two things works on what type of data? Qualitative data or quantitative data? Tell me. They work on qualitative or quantitative? They work on qualitative or quantitative? They work on qualitative or work on quantitative? They work on qualitative or work on quantitative? Come on, answer. They work on qualitative or quantitative? Come on, learners, come on. Yes, the nominal and ordinal works on qualitative type of data. Why? Why? I cannot apply 3 plus 2 is equal to 5 gives me very happy. I cannot say. Yes, a number of people here true, false and all. I cannot do any kind of addition, subtraction. I cannot do any kind of arithmetic operations about the thing. So it works only on the qualitative type of data. Okay, it can tell how many male or female. That's all it can say. Nothing more than that. Okay, Gauri, it's not quantity, it's quality. It's qualitative data. So next, when I move to interval data, whenever I move to interval data, there the data can be categorized, ranked and evenly spaced. Example what? Whenever I say the temperature is between 90 degrees yesterday, 90 degree Fahrenheit. Today it was 80 degree Fahrenheit. What is that? That 10 degree difference, right? That gives me some meaning. The 10 degree difference what? It gives me some meaning, right? That meaning I call it as what? Interval data. That evenly spaced value will have a meaning and that we call it as the interval data. Yes? Yes. And next comes to ratio. So here the ratio can be categorized, ranked, evenly spaced and can be a natural zero will be here. Natural zero means what? That zero will be having what? It will be having a meaning. It means nothing. It will be having a meaning. So where this two interval and the ratio level data, they works on the quantitative type of data. They work on quantitative type of data. So they work on qualitative data, they work on quantitative data. Clear? Yes. Next we move to nominal, ordinal, ordinal, interval and ratio. You should be know what is how to identify nominal, ordinal. They may ask you with an example. They'll give you some example and they will ask you which kind of data it belongs to. In which data we can do classification. Okay. In which data we can apply quantitative data methods. In which data we can do qualitative data methods. They may ask you questions in this way. These are all the data level of measurements that you do after doing the data collection. When I applied in the statistical measures or what, we can apply these kinds of scales, right? Next I move to measures of central tendency. So these are all the important questions nowadays the NTA is asking on the concept of a statistics. In UGC NET, in data collection, they are asking more questions from statistics. They are asking from the scales. They are asking from the statistics, qualitative, quantitative, and they are asking about parametric statistics, non-parametric statistics, and this mean, median, and mode, skewness, kurtosis, and all. They are the latest topic questions that are asking questions. Please do kindly follow, revise the concepts with me. Positivism, post-positivism. Yes, I'm asking I'm telling you the most important. Okay, I've covered, trying to cover with this 2 hours, what all I could cover, I'm covering. The rest we will see in another marathon session like this. Okay, Sudha? Yes. So we have mean, median and mode. What do you mean by mode? Mean is nothing but what? The average number of values, right? Say example, if I have a class of 100 students, the 100 students values will be stored here, and I want to find out the average value. Means what? I'll be adding all these numbers and dividing by 100. I'll be getting the average score. That is mean. What do you mean by median? Median is the score where it will be locating the middle value and the middle position, and the middle position value will be found out by means of an ordered data set. What do you mean ordered data set? I'll be ordered the whole data set from minimum to maximum, and then locating the middle value, and will be telling that will be the median value of a data set. And next comes mode. What do you mean by mode? Mode is the most frequent value which occurs in the data set. It means say example, if it is a score, means what is the score which has been what score? Suppose say example, some students would have got 90, right? How many students have got 90 in your class? So that we call it as what? The most frequent data in your data set. We call the most frequent data in your data set. Clear? Yes? Yes, clear? Yes. Shall we go to the next concept? Yes. Next we move to the next concept called skewness. Note down these points. Very much important. Please do note down. Next we move to skewness. So see, all these things we are discussing under the title of data collection. So I have collected my data and I made it in a form of a table, and this table is going to be interpreted by means of graph. Because only after interpretation I can able to say whether what the data is speaking about. Okay, so in that I have to, with the table I can do the central tendency. I can talk about the mean, I can talk about the median. Okay, I can talk about the mode. By means of statistical formulas I can find out what is the mean value, median value, mode value, standard deviation, what is the standard deviation, what is the variance I can found out. Similarly, and that with this data I have to apply to a graph. I have to convert it into a form of a graph. From that graph I can able to identify what kind of distribution it has been occurred. Okay, skewness comes under the term of distribution. How the data has been distributed throughout the data set. Okay, distribution means how the data has been spread out. I have to find out, and that the concept we call it as a skewness. In some cases the data will be clustered towards one end. See here the data has been clustered towards this end. Okay, you just take an consider an example. This is 0 to 100. Okay, in this end we have the frequency of the students, that is number of students is being given here. So see, take the class strength at 10, 20, I have given in 10 scale, 30 and 50. So this is the student strength and this is the marks is being given. Whenever I mark like this, right, whenever I get this graph, see this graph, whenever I got this graph, what does it mean? What does it mean? You imagine that this is the marks area and this is the student strength area. This is student strength. Okay, what does it mean? 0 here, some 10 will be here, 20 will be here, 30 will be here, and gradually what will happen? Here, this is 10, this is 20, this is 40, and this is 50. Okay, see, this is 50. This is what? 50. And this is 10. And this is 20. And this is 40. And this is 50. So here is the point of students 50. And here is the point of students 40. And here it is telling some 20 students have got this marks. Okay. And here, that's all. This is how the graph has been given. So this kind of skewness. And there is no marks between this area to 100 marks area. And there is no marks between this area to this area. And see here, this is called a peak point. This we call it as a peak point. And this we call it as a positively skewed or a right skew. See, this we call a positive skew or a right skew. This tells the what will be the exam marks. Whether the marks would have been high or it will be low. Tell me whether the students would have got So this is 50 students, okay, this is 50 marks. This point is the 50 marks. So what does it mean then? Students between 50 and 100 is more or less. Students who have scored between 1500 is more or less, it is less. It means what? The exam is difficult. The exam is, yes, exam is difficult. So this skew we call it as what? Positively skewed. Why, ma'am, it is positively skewed? See, all the things have been skewed towards one point. See, the marks are all in this region. The marks are all in this region. Between 0 to 50, all the marks are here. Okay, all the marks are here. 50 students have got this marks. Okay, right? And ma'am, what is this median, mode and mean? Here what? The mode will be always less than the median and it will be less than the mean. The mean will be the highest all the time. Okay, mean will be the highest all the time. This is the thing, note it down. This is the thing. Mode is greater, is less than median, less than mean. So exam is difficult. You simultaneously take for the other point. See here, here negative skewed what? The marks, the exam scores are all here. It means what? This is 0 to 100. The students who have got more marks are right. Right? All the students have got more marks. So it means what? The exam is easy. The exam is easy. Yes, clear? And this we call negatively skewed and it is left skewed. Clear? This is called skewness. This is called what? Skewness. Clear? Yes? Yes means I'll go to the next one. That's all. This is about the skewness. Yes? Okay, I will use red color. Yes, I'll use the red color. Yes, ma. Sorry. I'll use the red color. I'll use the red color, don't worry. Okay. See what I want to say? This point. This is positively skewed. This is negatively skewed. And this is right skewed. And this is left skewed. And this shows that the mark all towards this point. Here the mark all towards this point. Okay, this you have to understand. That's all. Okay, so this is about skewness. Next concept is about kurtosis. Next point is about kurtosis. What does it mean is, it talks about the distribution, how it talks about the tailness. Okay, tailedness. Towards what end it has been distributed. It talks about the peak of the data. Talks about the peak of the data. See, we have three type of distribution: leptocritic, normal distribution, mesocritic, and it is platocritic. Okay, leptocritic means what? There will be a peak point. There will be a one peak point. That is called leptocritic. Mesocritic means there will be a normal distribution. Normally the distribution would have been happened. See here, the brown covers a normal distribution. Platocritic means what? Here we'll have I'll be having a plateau. Plateau means at the same point many number of students would have got marks. Right? And it's called platocritic. Clear? It is leptocritic, mesocritic, platocritic. It talks about the peak of the data. Whether the peak, where the peak has been attained, how many students are there in that peak. Right? Leptocritic, here see there's a one peak is there. Mesocritic means it's a normal distribution. Platocritic means the plateau means what? At one single plateau, we'll be telling like this, P-L-A-T-A-U. Okay, platocritic. In this one plateau, there are many number of students have got their marks. It's just platocritic. It's called kurtosis. Yes, clear? So I hope we have 5 more minutes. I don't know whether I could. I'll just take this last one, validity and reliability. I'll go quick. Kindly do. Validity and reliability means what? Validity, it talks about the data, and the tool that we use. It talks about the data and the tool that we use. What do you mean by internal validity? Internal validity means, validity means it talks about the consistency of the data. Accuracy of the data. Validity talks about the accuracy of the data. Reliability talks about the consistency of the data. Okay, validity talks about the accuracy, the reliability talks about the consistency of the data. And what is accurate means, first we'll go with reliability. See, whenever I'm using a research, right, when I'm doing a research, I have to get the same research whenever I do it again and again. I'm using this pen to write, right? So whenever I used to write, this pen has to do the same application for what it has been received. Right? That is consistent. Consistently, it has to do its performance well. It has to give the same result whenever I apply. Whenever I test. Whenever I do the same test again and again and again, it should give me the same result, and that I call reliability. What do you mean by validity? Validity means whether this instrument or this tool is accurate to do this research or not, and that we call accuracy. Right? And validity, we have internal validity and we have external validity. Internal validity, which refers to the cause and effect that occurs. Right? It talks about the cause and effect of a research. Whatever research questions I frame, okay, validity means what? Whether that tool is valid or not, whether that software tool, whether that questionnaire is valid or not, I have to say. So whatever I questionnaire I prepare, say example, if I want to know about the depression level of a student, means I have to frame question with respect to find out the depression level of the student. If I frame a question with respect to the enjoyment level of the student, means it will be contradictory. So I have to frame questions with respect to identify the research depression level of the student. So all the questions should be answerable to the research question. If it is right, means then it is internally valid questionnaire. External validity means what? Whether that questionnaire can be applied in different scenarios to identify, and that we call it as external validity, whether it is generalizable or not. Clear? And that we call it as a external validity. And these are the different types: construct validity, content validity, phase validity, and criterion validity. I will take you the types in the next marathon. This class I will just cover only with the meanings of validity and reliability. Reliability means what? It talks about the consistency of the data. Whether the data is consistent or not. Okay, it gives the same test. Whenever I do the same test, the same result is being produced or not is called as what? Reliability of a research. Reliability of the data. Okay, right? So far this class we have covered research. I'll take another. We have covered research, characteristics of research, types of research, we have talked about qualitative and quantitative research. Qualitative, quantitative research, we talked about scales of measurements. And here we have talked about qualitative, quantitative, and deductive, inductive. And we have talked about the scales of measurements, that is nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio type of data. And then we have started with validity and reliability. So we have hopefully will create another marathon for complete the other parts of this questions. Yes. Okay. Clear? Clear? Yes. Skewness. Cluster, we have to repeat. Skewness. Internal validity. Very good, Seetal. Thank you so much. Yes, today evening in the 3 p.m. session, right? We are going to have questions from all these topics that too asked in March, June 2023 questions, right? We are going to have all these questions. Please kindly do join the app today at 3 p.m. in the app for having more questions. Please do join at 3 p.m. at Unify study app for more PYQs from all these questions, so that it will be a quick kind of a revision for us to understand all the concepts. Okay, learners, please do join. Thank you so much for joining the session. We'll be planning for upcoming more marathons like this to do quick revisions. In there, these topics which we have left out, maybe try to cover them. Okay, thank you so much. Have a nice weekend. Bye. See you all in 3 p.m. in app. Bye bye.